Hi, friends. Welcome to the Share Report. If you are new here, thank you so much for joining. And for those who are returning, be sure to share this channel. Everyone, if you are not subscribed, please definitely subscribe, support my independent reporting, all the things, comment. That is the best way to get this video out in the algorithm. So we are going to talk here. We have a big discussion. Let me just put it that way. We have a big discussion today. And this is something that has been heavy on my heart for a while. And I have been talking a lot about things that are happening. Actually, lots of people are talking about the I group. Okay. And it seems like everybody seems to be talking about it, but there is a reason. Okay. There is a reason why people are talking about the I nation, the I group. And it's because we fund so much for them. We get $3 billion a year. Okay. So let me backtrack here. So I did a video a few videos ago, and I had mentioned about this young gentleman. He's very controversial. His name is Nick Fuentes. Okay. And I was talking about the three things that I agree with him about. Okay. In that video. And one of the things that he had said is that America is a Christian nation. Okay. And I had mentioned that America is not a Christian nation, especially now. And I want to dive further into explaining why I think America is not a Christian nation. Maybe in 1776, we were founded on Christian principles, things of that sort. But 2025, America definitely is not a Christian nation. And this is the reason I say this, is because we align ourselves with countries and places that do not have Christian values. Okay. One of the Christian values is valuing the sanctity of life, valuing traditional values. Okay. Pro-family, traditional values, the nuclear family that they talk about, a mother and a father, children being, a part of that union. And I look around and we're often told, and I am not saying I am advocating or pro any of these places that I'm talking about. I'm just talking about the principles and the things and the basis of when they say we are found or we are a Christian nation. Okay. So one of the nations that we seem to always be against, okay, one of the places where they say, oh, Russia bad, Russia's this, Russia that, we need to be at war with Russia. And I was looking a little further, not saying I'm advocating for any other foreign country, but I'm just saying we align ourselves with people who don't actually have traditional Christian values. So reason why I say that is because I was looking a little deeper into the Russian realm and how they deal with their citizens and how they run their country and how they run things. And I was reading that a lot of the values are very traditional, and actually they really believe in Christian values. They believe in a mother and a father as a family, children, and they are, for the most part, and I wouldn't say that they're anti-abortion, but they are definitely more pro-life. Okay. And then all of the other countries, like there's some other African, the continent of Africa, but there's countries in Africa that actually aligned with more traditional Christian values. And we did some sneaky, shady things. Like, for instance, the United States did something really sneaky and shady to a certain country that was definitely anti or not for the same gender unions or people that commit sodomy. Okay. So we were against that and start doing things against them, not giving them aid. And then they're just already a poor country, but doing different things to them that was just not nice. Okay. Making things worse for them than what it was prior. And then we have the I group of people who are definitely pro alphabet community, definitely pro unliving, were the biggest country to actually get involved and have their citizens take the poison dart. Okay. And then also not into the freedom portion of choosing, letting people choose, because that seems to be a word that people like to talk about, like, oh, my body, my choice, choosing and things of that sort. So they were the first person, the highest rate for the poison dart. Okay. So we seem to flood and pour in lots of money to people who actually don't align with the Christian values that we say, or Christian nation that we say that we are. Okay. And then also, this same country that we say that we align with, or that we align with, like the I group, this same country that we pour $3 billion in all the time, actually does not even like Christians. Okay. So I have seen footage, video footage of them actually spitting, which is the lowest form that you can actually do to people, spitting on Christians. Okay. All right. So these are the things that I'm talking about. Another thing is, this country tends to do a lot of unliving people. And one of the bases of Christianity is to be pro-life. And even in the New Testament, very recently, it's not like it's all in the Old Testament. It talks about thou shalt not kill. Okay. So this is another thing that I talk about. How can we be a Christian nation? We are aligning ourselves with people who don't like Christians and who don't have Christian values and that are consistently unliving people. Okay. Especially a country that actually is 47%, the people there are under the age of 18. All right. So even God himself, when he told Nineveh, if we're going to talk about the Bible, us who believe in God, okay, when God told Jonah to go to Nineveh and say 40 days, you're going to be destroyed. So no, Jonah did not want to go. And then once they found out, the people of Nineveh found out, they humbled themselves. They were just like, oh no, we don't want this to happen to us. Okay. And Jonah was very upset. And God says, you really want me to destroy these people, when a large percentage of the people there, they don't even know the difference between their left and their hand, meaning like they're young. Okay. So even God was looking down and saying, okay, you really want me to destroy these people, and they're little people, lots of young people that don't even know the difference between their left and right hand. Okay. So even God noticed things. And then he also talks about suffering little children. All right. So these are the things that I am talking about. And lots of people have said, and I'm going to play something for you so that you can see for yourself. And I think Tucker Carlson did a really, 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 really good job of exposing these people who say that they're conservative and Christian. And then also there's a gentleman, he's actually a comedian. Let me think of his name right now. His name eludes me right now. Dave Smith. Okay. He says, how can you say that you're conservative and pro-life when you're actually funding and giving money to places that are actually unliving small children? You cannot say that you're pro-life when you're actually giving money to people who are actually unliving small children. Okay. When, like I said, 47% of the population is under 18. Okay. So these are the things that I am talking about. We cannot say that we are a Christian nation when we are advocating and sending money and giving money to people who actually actively unlives people, who are actively against the Bible, Christians, and promoting things like murder. Okay. So that is what I am referring to. There's many ways that I can say that. Okay. And then also within the country, the foundation, like our Supreme Court back in 2015, actually legalize the union between the same two genders. Okay. Two men or two women. Okay. It's never been like that from the beginning of time, since humanity, since male and female were created. There's always been just one or the other. Okay. So these are the things that I'm talking about. Yeah, there may be pockets of good Christian people in there, but the basis, the foundation of this country is definitely in 2025, it's not Christian. Okay. And I've proven, like I said, just those things. Okay. The unliving left and right, and the devaluing of life, and thinking that life is expendable, and just, dealing with life in a reckless way, not thinking that people are actually valuable. Okay. So I wanted to throw that out there. And the title of this video is called Where's Daddy? Okay. And you're probably thinking, what on earth? Why the name of that video? Well, during my research and things that I have been reading as of lately, there's actually a software that the I group, this is unbelievable. Okay. This video or my channel is all about educating us, and we're learning together. And as I learn, I want to share, because I want us to know what we're up against, the things that we need to know in this world, so that we're not caught off guard. And when we're fed something, we can say, wait a second, that's wrong. That is wrong. Okay. But we're always consistently learning here. I'm always learning. So I recently learned, and Redacted had given the YouTube channel Redacted, which I subscribe to them. If you don't subscribe to them, definitely do. But they put out a little seed. And then that's when I started digging a little bit further. Okay. About this software. It's a tracking software called Where's Daddy? Okay. And I'm going to share something with you because I think it is valuable for us to know this. All right. So let me come up here and have this for us to see. All right. All right. So I'm going to go a little bit further. So there is this AI machine, actually Lavender. It's an AI machine directing the I group to actually do a bombing spree in Gaza. Okay. And I'm going to tell you the name of the other one that's kind of like coincides with it, correlates with it. They kind of go together. The name of it, you're going to be so shocked. I'm like, wow, out of all names, something that you pair already with this horrible AI generated machine going out on this spree to unlive people. Okay. So as you see here, that from 972 magazine, I'm going to read this to you. Hopefully you can see that I put this here. Okay. So we're going to read a little bit further. So Lavender, the AI machine directing Israel, or the I group, because we can't say anything about them, bombing spree in Gaza. The I army has marked tens of thousands of Gazans as suspects for unliving using an AI targeting system with little human oversight and a permissive policy for casualties. Okay. So basically, they are targeting, this one targets people. And they target people who may look suspicious, who may have some association with the Hamas or whatever, or maybe related to people. So basically, this is a collective targeting to unlive people who may be related or look suspicious. Okay. So this is what we call collectivism. All right. And the thing that I don't like about this is that collectivism can sometimes be very dangerous. Okay. So, like, for instance, you can say that, and there's a word right now that's called Black fatigue, because Black people right now are acting like victims, or have in the past few years acting like victims and using the race card and just using that to act terrible, ghetto, and low class, and just do terrible things. Victims, like, oh, this is because of the white man, or this and that. That's called Black fatigue. Okay. But the reason I had brought that up is because people can say, oh, all Black people are so terrible. They're all ghetto. They're all this, all Black people, this, and that, or all group of people or something like that, collectively lumping all people into one group. Now, granted, there is some truth to stereotypes, but I for certain can say that I'm definitely not in the group of people who are ghetto or act a certain way. Okay. So the reason I mention that is because this here is what I'm getting ready to read to you. The people that they're targeting is a collective targeting of people, meaning that these people that are born in this place, they must obviously be associated with this terrorist group. Okay. So we're going to target them and unlive them, in essence, create what we call a genocide. Okay. All right. So let me continue reading this because it's so important. All right. In 2021, a book titled The Human Machine Team, How to Create Synergy Between Human and Artificial Intelligence. So it goes on to talk a lot about how this whole thing got started. Okay. So I'm going to go down a little bit further. Okay. Such a machine, it turns out, actually exists. A new investigation by 972 magazine and Local Call reveals that the I Army has developed an artificial intelligence-based program known as Lavender, unveiled here for the first time. Okay. So this was last year. All right. And it may have been before this. Okay. And you're probably thinking, okay, this is the Middle East. This is another country. Why are we talking about this? There's a reason I am bringing this up, okay? So remember in prior videos, I had said that the I group is the largest recipient of U.S. foreign aid. We give, since 2023, we have given them over $18 billion. And up until 2028, we're going to continue giving them $3+ billion. Okay, so this is important because we are actually funding this. And as I was doing my research, I wanted to know, okay, are we in alignment with this Lavender AI program? Okay, so this is what I had researched. The US tech industry provided the cloud and AI infrastructure to use the Lavender program to launch it into for its development and deployment. Okay, so as of right now, it says we haven't openly endorsed it, but in a way we have provided the infrastructure and the platform for its deployment and for it to be launched. Okay, so in essence, we are basically supporting this. We are in essence supporting this unliving of innocent people who they claim that they're targeting because they may be a part of a Hamas group. They're collectively putting all of these people in one group. Okay, so that is the part that is very bothersome to me. All right, Lavender unveiled here for the first time, according to 6 intelligence officers who have served in the army during the current war in the Gaza Strip and had firsthand involvement with the use of AI to generate targets for unliving. Lavender has played a central role in the unprecedented bombing of Palestinians, especially during the early stages of the war. In fact, according to the sources, its influence on the military's operation was such that they essentially treated the outputs of the AI machine as it were a human decision. Okay, so this is the issue with this. Okay, the issue with this is that AI, we know, is artificial intelligence, but people have to program all of this stuff. So if they're artificially, targeting these certain people, all of this information has been put in by some human being. And then the artificial intelligence does the beckoning of the people, okay, who put in all of this information. All right. So that is very, 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 very bothersome. All right, let me continue reading this. All right, formally, the Lavender system is designed to mark all suspected operatives in the military wings of Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad, which we know as PIJ, including low-ranking ones as potential targets. Don't want to say those words because I don't want this video to be flagged. We need to get the message out. The sources told Plus 972 in Local Call that during the first weeks of the war, the Army almost completely relied on Lavender, which clocked as many as 37,000 Palestinians as suspected militants, and their homes for possible airstrikes. During the early stages of the war, the Army gave sweeping approval for officers to adopt Lavender's kill list with no requirement to thoroughly check why the machine made those choices or to examine the raw intelligence data. So this is very, very, very bothersome, friends. Very, very, very bothersome. Okay, so like I had mentioned, there's actually a counterpart to this. I shouldn't say counterpart, but like a sister to this, a brother or sister to this. And as we know, Lavender targets people, and they also have another one that they call the gospel, and that targets buildings. Okay, suspected buildings that maybe hold these people, or maybe a little bit further, I will read more where it gives more specifics about it. But the gospel is the one that targets the buildings, and Lavender targets the people. Out of all names, the gospel. As we know, the gospel stands for good news. So I think these people are warped. Okay, this is disgusting. All right, let me read a little further. Moreover, the Army systemically attacked the targeted individuals while they were in their homes. Okay, usually at night while their whole families were present. Okay, so they're looking for males. This is why this video is called Where's Daddy? Because this is actually the tracking software. Okay, the tracking software is actually called Where's Daddy? rather than during the course of military activity. According to the sources, this was because from what they regarded as an intelligence standpoint, it was easier to locate individuals in their private homes. Additional automated systems, including one called Where's Daddy. I just really, I don't understand how we can continue supporting these people who are committing this atrocity. Also reveal here for the first time were used specifically to track the targeted individual and carry out this word when they had entered their family's residences. Okay, look at that. The result, as the sources testified, is that thousands of Palestinians, most of them women and children, like I mentioned, or people who were not involved in the fighting, were wiped out by I airstrikes, the I groups, I airstrikes, especially during the first week of the war because of the AI program's decisions. Okay, so friends, this is awful. Let me not even play that. That is just that's disturbing me. Very, very, very disturbing. So I just wanted to share that with you, and very awful. I just don't know what to say other than that. It is just so awful. And like I mentioned to you before, the fact that we support this, we meaning the United States support this, is even more troubling. Okay, we're giving our money to them, our tax-paid money, taxpayer money, and we're supporting this. Shows we are not a Christian nation. Okay. All right. So this was actually brought up to, as we know, one of the co-founders of Palantir, Peter Thiel. This was actually brought up to him. Okay. And I thought it was quite interesting how he answered the question. He was kind of stumbling and fumbling over his words. Okay. So I'm going to play this for you. Let me turn this on here. So someone asked him a question, and I thought it was actually a really good question. Let me do this really quickly for you. Had asked about this. Let me add this here for you to see. All right, I'm going to play this for you.
Now, what do you think about the use of artificial intelligence or lavender by the IDF in identifying Hamas targets? And secondly, do you agree with Elon Musk about that the population decline is a risk for humanity?
Look, I'm not, without going into all the I'm not on top of all the details of what's going on in Israel because my bias is to defer to Israel. It's not for us to second guess everything, and I believe that broadly the IDF gets to decide what it wants to do, and that they're broadly in the right, and that's sort of the perspective I come back to. And if I fall into the trap of arguing you on every detailed point, I would actually be conceding the broader issue that the Middle East should be micromanaged from Cambridge, and I think that's just simply absurd. And so I'm not going to concede that point. And what was the other?
So as you can see, all the stumbling and fumbling that he did, because he knows what deep down within his heart that this is wicked. This is pure wickedness. I'm going to play something else for you. And I thought that this was actually a good point that Tucker made. We all know the conservative political commentator, Matt Walsh. I actually liked his video that he had made, What is a Woman? And I thought it was really good. Okay. So this is the reason why I stopped looking at a lot of conservatives who say they are pro-life, but at the same time, they're wishy-washy with what life that they want to preserve and keep, okay? Especially, like I keep saying, and I'm going to keep harping on it. I'm going to keep harping on it, especially since our hard-earned money is going towards that. And they say, well, I don't care. I don't care. Well, you should care. Okay. It would be different if we weren't giving money to them. Okay. It would be different if they were, out in the Middle East and they were doing their own thing and unliving each other and all the things, and we had nothing to do with that and we weren't funding it. It would be very different to say, I don't care, but we're funding it. And they're supposed to be our greatest ally. All right. So I'm going to play this for us so that you can see this. Here for us to see.
For real debates. And then I realized with the war in Gaza that these are people who don't believe in Western civilization, because Western civilization can be boiled down to one concept, and that's the individual. If someone does something wrong, we punish that person. We don't kill his kids. Why do we do that? Why is that our standard? Because we believe that God created every person as an individual, and every person will stand before God alone to account for his life. He's not responsible for what his children do, what his ancestors did, what his forebears might do. He's responsible for himself, because we believe in the individual soul, not the collective soul. And that's what makes our civilization unique in the history of the world. And it derives from Christianity, from the Christian belief of the individual soul. And I see all these people who clearly don't believe that. So how are we on the same side?
Well, so this is where we can be friends on the same side and disagree, because I wouldn't agree with everything you've just laid out there. I think now, last time we talked a little bit about Israel, and my take at the time was I really don't care.
Right.
I just don't care. I honestly don't care.
I want that take bad.
Yeah.
I don't want to care. I don't want anything to do with this.
That's still my take. That's always been my take. It upsets people on both. This is one legitimately on both sides of the Israel issue.
And what I want to say is the reason he doesn't care is because we know who he works for. Okay. We know who pays his salary. We know who he works for. So therefore he doesn't want to upset the apple cart. He doesn't want to bite the hand that feeds him. Okay. He doesn't want to stand up for human life, even though he says he's a Catholic or whatever, a Christian Catholic or whatever it may be. He says he's pro-life. Okay. So like Tucker said, we don't go around. Okay. So here's the thing. Well, people say, well, don't you think that the I group should defend themselves? Of course. I believe everybody should defend themselves. Here's the issue that I have. Okay. So let's say that someone is broke into your house. Okay. Or came in. Yeah. They broke into your house. All right. So then you call the police and say, okay, you need to arrest this person. So the police come and they arrest the person that broke into your house. Okay. And then they arrest the children, and then they arrest the grandmother, and then they arrest the grandfather, and they arrest the friends. And then all the people associated with the one person that broke into your house. That's the issue. Okay. None of these people are involved. None of these people are doing the crime. Okay. You only want to deal with the person that did the crime. Yes, everybody wants to defend themselves. Yes, everybody has the right to defend themselves. But the children, when most of the children are in bed and sleep, and most of the people that are under the person who broke into the other person's house, when most of them are children, innocent children, that's when it becomes an issue. So these are the things that I'm trying to say, friends. And for Matt Walsh to be kind of wishy-washy, we know why. Okay. And the fact that he doesn't care is actually pretty bad.
People get mad at me for that, because they say that, well, if they're very pro-Israel, they say, well, you're being a coward and you need to stand up and support Israel and talk about how Israel's our greatest, most important ally and all this stuff. But then another side, very much it's, well, no, Israel's the great Satan. They're the most evil country in the world.
Right.
They're responsible for everything bad that happens. and which is something that I think some people legitimately really do believe at some level.
A lot of people
And-
believe that.
Right. And so then they say to me, well, you need to stand up and say, and say that. And again, my response to that is, first of all, don't tell me what to say. Okay. I have my own mind.
Amen.
Okay, so we know exactly what is happening here. He just doesn't want to deal with the question. And he's sort of being passive aggressive. We're going to leave it there because we know. Okay? But I just wanted to share that with you all, friends, because I feel like it's imperative for us to have this information. Okay? It's imperative for us to have this information and to stand up for human life, to stand up for the greater good, not to be against people by any means. I'm not against anybody. As you guys know, I'm not going to even stoop down to the level to even defend myself, because we all know my motive and my reasoning for this. And lots of people are seeing through the stupidness and saying you're anti this for speaking against unliving innocent people. Okay. And for us funding all of this stuff. And this is the bigger picture. Okay. Why we're always into these endless wars. Who's behind all of it? Okay. And that you can't say anything about anybody because that's anti this, anti that. So I wanted to come on and share the reason why the video was named Where's Daddy? Now, you know, Where's Daddy is a tracking software, okay, that the I Group have created to track people and to target the Lavender AIs, to target people and to unlive them. And then the gospel, which I can't believe they named that, is actually targeting the buildings. Okay. There's so much more that I can share. There's lots and lots of things I want to share with you all. There's actually a group that I will be talking about probably later in a different video that's actually doing a really good job. They're the opposite of APAC that we talked about. They're actually an opposite group and wanting to expose where money's going, all the things, and how, we're funding so much are the opposite. So I will be talking about that very, very, very soon. But in the meantime, I truly appreciate you all being here, and make sure that you comment once this video is done. Comment to make sure that the algorithm pushes this out, because a lot of people need to know about this. I didn't know about this, and just reading and researching, now I know a whole lot more. And I know the reason why our government is the way that it is, and why certain people are in power, and why certain people are being blackmailed. And when certain people get in, it's like they are chained and shackled because they have been given money, so they feel loyal to these people. It's just all making so much more sense. So I will see you all in the next video very, very, very soon. Be sure to subscribe, support my independent research and reporting, all the things. I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks for joining.